Greetings. This is the one you've known as Jesus the Christ. Prayer is talking to God. It's a one-way conversation, or at least you may feel it is, but it's an important conversation to have. For one thing, it identifies the issue, the problem, or the need, the thing you feel is missing that makes you unhappy. To pray for help, you need to be aware of something you want changed. This awareness is the first step in changing something. Awareness empowers you to change whatever you'd like to change. It also enables you to get assistance from other realms to do that. So when you pray, two things are happening. You're asking for assistance from other realms and calling it forth. But importantly, you are also defining for yourself what you want on a deeper level. What is it you think you need or want to be happy? This God that you pray to doesn't have to be an imagination of a wise being. It can be anything you're comfortable with conceiving God as. Don't let the idea that God must be a being, an entity, stop you from praying. Pray to the universe, pray to the intelligence, pray to the forces that be. Pray to whatever it is you conceive of as a helping force, as wisdom, as intelligence, as the power behind the universe. God is not actually a singular being, as most of you realize anyway, but it is a force for creation. It is also all of life as it's expressed. It is the force that creates life, and it is life living itself in the many ways that it does. This is God. So you pray to this force and ask to be aligned with it, and for help with whatever you think you need help with. When you speak your needs, you may discover they aren't true needs, and that there's something deeper that is more important to pray for. When you open yourself up to speaking to God, an evolution can happen. You discover things about yourself. This is the basis for psychotherapy as well, or the value of friendship and relationship. When you speak things out loud, you learn about yourself. So it is with talking with God. You learn about yourself. Things that are unconscious become conscious. Your awareness grows. Another valuable thing about prayer is that it's a way of overcoming certain subconscious blocks. When you speak openly and clearly about what you want, you're also addressing your subconscious and saying, "This is what I want. This is my intention." Speaking your intention out loud empowers you to overcome any subconscious forces that are working against attaining that intention. Prayer is a way of reprogramming the subconscious and helping you move forward. You form an intention, state that intention, and that creates a new possibility. Perhaps you've been following some habit that hasn't been helpful. When you speak an intention to change that habit, your subconscious mind aligns with that and says, "Okay, now that I know what you want, let's do that. I thought you wanted the other thing." The same is true of the forces assisting you in other dimensions. When they hear of your intention, they come forward and say, "Okay, she's ready to have something new in her life. She's ready for help. She's finally aware of this and ready for us to help her with it." That's what goes on when you pray. When you speak to God, you can say anything. This is very important, because with other people you often can't just say anything. Even with yourself, you sometimes feel that it's not right to think something. With God, you can say anything. With God, there is an all-pervading compassion and love, so you can say anything. It's good to say whatever you're moved to say, to get it out in the open where you can see it. Then you can see if it's true or not. Sometimes you hold back your thoughts instead of examining them, and in holding them back, they persist. If you have a negative belief, it won't stop coming up until it's acknowledged and examined. It won't be healed unless you see it and examine it, and in that examination, see that it isn't true. However, it isn't enough to be aware of a negative thought if you still believe it. You have to be aware of it and also see that it isn't true. Only then can you be free of it. Just being aware of a negative thought, just witnessing it, is not enough to heal it. If a thought is still believed, it will come up again, although witnessing does diminish its strength, and witnessing is better than identifying with it. Identifying with a negative thought would be believing it and reinforcing it by speaking it. If you want to be free of a thought, you have to question its validity. If you do, you'll always discover that a negative thought is not true, that it isn't valid. A true thought would be true under all circumstances, and true always, because that is what truth is. Truth is true. Given this, very few thoughts would pass this test. If a thought that makes you feel bad doesn't pass this test, isn't true always and throughout time, then what good is it? It has no useful purpose. It only makes you feel bad. So you can discard it. To move beyond negative beliefs and misunderstandings, you have to really truly see that they are useless and untrue. When you stop believing them, they'll diminish in their power and arise much less frequently. In speaking out loud to God, you're speaking these thoughts. Doing this is like writing in a journal. You can see what's in your mind, what falseness is there. Speak your thoughts to God. Listen to yourself. See the falseness and see what is true. You will know when you're speaking truth in a prayer because of how it feels. Talking to God is a little bit like therapy. You're talking to a wise, accepting, compassionate being, the ultimate being who is truly loving you unconditionally. This is a powerful experience, as is therapy for many people when it's done properly. Having a compassionate, accepting being witnessing your life, witnessing your thoughts and your expression, is very powerful. Then you can begin to sort out what's true and isn't true, what's real and isn't real, what you want and what you don't really want, what you need and what you don't really need. Do this as an exercise in emotional health and well-being. Do this for yourself. This is part of a natural clearing process you can engage in every day. Talk to the Beloved, talk to God, and you will never feel alone. For this Beloved is always there listening. More and more, you will begin to experience that the Beloved is always there and always listening, always loving you, always caring. In this way, you develop a relationship with the Beloved, with God. In that relationship is a wholeness. You can receive what you need within yourself from this relationship. And like any relationship, it requires nurturing, time spent and care given, and then it deepens. A relationship with the divine doesn't happen overnight. It's something that must be nurtured over time, but it is time well spent, as this relationship will support you and give you a sense of stability and wholeness, completeness. When you express your needs to the divine, and those needs are fulfilled on the deepest levels, sometimes apparently and sometimes less apparently, there's much less need for others to fulfill your needs. There's less need to speak to others about your needs, who sometimes are not that helpful. Human beings can often reinforce negative thoughts and egoic ways of thinking. You won't find that when you're talking to God. You have an open line where you talk and listen to yourself, and then you do receive from the divine as you open up. You receive in various ways. Sometimes those ways are fairly tangible and measurable. At other times they are immeasurable, and yet you've received something. Thank you for being here. I am with you always.